Hello and welcome back to the How the Race Was Won podcast from Escape Collective. I'm Dane Cash, and I am joined as ever by bike racing analyst extraordinaire Cosmo Catalano. Cosmo, how are you?
I'm good. I'm joined myself by the Vuelta duck
The duck.
on
Oh,
on Angliru.
that is
Angliru.
that's a good
That's
find.
I told AI to make the duck be
Oh,
on
I
the roo,
see. Oh,
and
I
so it
see.
wrote it on the road
Yeah.
like
Uh,
official typeface, so we would
yeah.
know.
You prompted it, so it's totally your creation. Well, Angliru, that's the thing we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about stage 13 of the Vuelta and just in general the second week of the Vuelta. We decided we are going to do the show on the Friday after the Angliru stage, probably the most famous climb in Spain. Almeida himself said he thinks it's the hardest climb in the world. What's the headline from stage 13?
The key to success on a legendarily steep mountain climb is criterium skill, obviously.
Yeah, as it turned out today, that is what decided the stage. Well, that and the fact that I think maybe our race leader was not at his absolute best. Let's get into it. Was there a decisive moment today?
I
This
mean,
was a weird one.
there's a lot. It was an interesting stage for me. Obviously, the moment where things kicked off was Ayuso getting dropped, because we know
Yeah, that's
now
the key
UAE
decisive
has
moment.
two modes. It has Ayuso win a stage mode, and it has GC mode. And the fact that he was at the back at exactly the moment when the rest of the team came to the front told
Yeah.
us that it was a GC day. The interesting part here, joking aside, is that this is actually at the top of the climb before Longlarue. Like, UAE really took this race over from very early out. And as a result, by the time we got to the foot of the Angliru, there's only 24 riders in the race, which is great, right? Like, and there were moments during this where I thought that UAE was totally just setting themselves up to get smacked by Visma, because Visma, you can see in this picture, has a bunch of riders near the front. They had strong numbers. When we got down kind of to the GC group, if you look between these two trees, you will see a UAE rider. You will see
Yeah.
3 or 4 bike lengths and another UAE rider. The guy in front is Felix Grossschartner. The second guy you see is Almeida. And you don't generally, this is generally a bad sign when your GC guy has a gap this big from his own lead out guy.
Yeah. This was a bad sign, but in general, just like
No, I mean, first of all, you'll note that the KM to go here in the image says 5.9K to go, and they have the leaders. If you look, there's a big white van. This is where Almeida is taking the lead. They have not yet reached the 6 km to go banner. So just to give you an idea of how kind of shaky these things can be.
You're adding evidence to your claim that the Vuelta is not.
It's not just the Vuelta. It's all bike.
Good.
I
just don't want you to besmirch the name of this race.
We'll follow up with this when we talk about the rest of the week. But the reason I have this slide in is this right here is where Almeida went to the front and stayed on the front.
Gradient.
Very, very, very steep gradient, but also he stayed on the front for the entire rest of the race, from here to the finish line, no exceptions. 2K later, Sepp Kuss is dropped. You can see Jonas looking back, maybe with a bit of longing.
Yeah, that does look like that. So that meme with the guy, and there's a girl behind and a girl in front, and he's looking. Yeah,
I don't know if it totally applies here, but I don't think so
either. But it does look. It's the same longing, I feel like.
Yeah, there is a lot. I think Jonas wanted some help today. Not that he didn't give it the old college try.
Well, I mean, Kuss stayed there longer than literally any other rider besides those two. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, we are inside the final K. It is flattens out substantially at the top. It actually finishes with a downhill. But this is sort of the moment, this little crest, where you would expect Vigneault to make a move. He's in the drops. He stands up for a couple of pedal strokes right there. It is sort of the long way around. There is a lot of wind exposure, but it's Jonas. You expect him to do it, and he just sits back down. I think it's pretty much over here. Almeida was nervous, though. He's going to look back before they get to the barriers. He's going to look back before they get to the KOM. Look back again. He's going to look back twice before this next corner. It just, the whole way in, he was very focused on making sure there was not Jonas room by the barriers. Even inside the final 30 meters, he takes one last check back. And that's it. That awareness, that focus on, I don't want this guy to pass me. I know that if I just stay at the front, if necessary for 6 kilometers, I can keep on top of him. He said he was expecting an attack. One never happened.
I feel, and he said this after the stage, that he was expecting an attack. That's what he said in the post-race interview. I feel like Vingegaard himself, the way that he was talking after the stage, expected more out of himself.
I mean, I the way that he was not talking after the stage for me showed that he was pretty wrecked. I mean, here's Almeida. Right after the finish, like literally just rolled into the little corral. You know, he's tired. Good. He's kind of like woof, but he's talking to people. He's looking around. He's functional. Yeah. You know, he's giving high fives. Here's Jonas.
Oh, that's a good still. He could be fine. That still though makes it look like he's very much.
Right. I mean, he was struggling to get down in the aero bars here. He's actually got a GPS head unit in his hand. I think you can see it there, but he's like, he hasn't even attached it. It's very much like, I have been this wrecked many, many times. It does not take the Angliru to get me this wrecked. But this was a level of wreckness for Jonas that was much deeper than what Almeida seemed to be showing.
Well, I got a couple of thoughts. So first off, just for the viewers, anybody watching who has seen all of the video, and you know, you even had a red circle at one point. That that must have taken you a little while. I'm just, your How the Race Is Won videos would often take a day or two, and I'm just so impressed by how quickly you turn this around. So yeah, just props.
I could go a lot quicker if the man would let me.
If the man would let you.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. We also, I think today we could talk about how the Vuelta, like, it's a race now. I think going into the race, most of us expected Jonas Vingegaard to win the thing. After a week, it seemed like he was well on his way to winning the thing. But today, I mean, Almeida looked better. Simple as that.
He looked better, but what did he get out of it? 4 seconds?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like so. I agree completely with you that the Vingegaard from the beginning of the race has been the guy to beat. He's overwhelming favorite, and he looked really good. The stage he won, and today he really lost as little time as he possibly could without winning the stage.
Yeah, literally.
And we're acting like it's some tremendous defeat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's sort of. It's reminiscent of when he beat Pogačar to win a stage at last year's Tour, and it was like, oh my,
maybe it's going to be close.
Yeah, and it's like, well, okay, he did it this one thing one day that they were on the same time. Anyway, that said, this is notable, and that is the first real time we can actually say, like, somebody looked kind of better than Vingegaard. Because when Pidcock, we saw Pidcock take it to Jonas on one of the climbs near Bilbao on the stage that was neutralized.
Stage with no finish.
With no finish.
Like it's a sportive.
To Pidcock's F-bomb dropping chagrin. But that was a Amstel Gold Race style climb. There's no big surprise that, I mean, it's somewhat surprising, but like it's not a shock that Tom Pidcock would be able to briefly gap Vingegaard on something like that. But yeah, this is a high mountain ascent to 1,500 meters where there's 20% sections over a long stretch. As I said, I think it's the most famous climb in Spain. Cafe Rider here in the comments is pointing out that I'm leaving the Lagos de Covadonga by the wayside. I love Lagos de Covadonga. It is absolutely stunning, but I do think Angliru is more famous from a cycling perspective. Anyway, for Vingegaard to not win the stage in the first place, and second of all, to be just not as good, I think, as Almeida today. That's a big deal. But let's talk about what it all means. So the broader picture. First off, UAE in general, I think, made a statement today. Felix Großschartner, like, being able to take it to Visma's all-star squad of domestiques. Yes, those all-stars did pretty well. Like, Kuss stayed on after Großschartner, dropped off. But it was clear that UAE has what it takes, even if Juan Ayuso doesn't feel like helping, or maybe he was not there today. He did win a stage, so...
I think honestly, hey, he's not going to be racing with us after, in a couple of days, basically. I think that relieved a lot of tension. Like, They seem to have a pretty clear dynamic where it's like, okay, Ayuso, forget about GC, forget about doing any work, just get in the break and win us stages, and we will do what we can with the people we have. Like, there's the luxurious Volta couch that Ian Treloar on a site called Escape Collective has written in detail about. We saw the two of them sitting next to each other kind of voluntarily. Like, there were people and teammates all over the place, different teams mixing, and they were sitting there chatting comfortably.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of knows where they stand and what the picture is. It reminds me a little bit of Visma, or I guess Jumbo at the time in 2023, where you're like, this is chaos. What are they doing? And then there was clearly a meeting where they're like, okay, here's what we're going to do.
Hash it out.
And everybody was like, cool.
Yeah, things really seemed to get settled with that and it's true over at UA. It's the same thing. I mean, even the day where we saw a lot of strife in the media, I think there were comments from Machine, who's like, I don't like kind of second or third in command over there, about Ayuso's comments about it being a dictatorship. Even on that day, like I went in to grab a photo for a story, and I saw there's a couple shots of Machine like giving Ayuso a push, you know, looking like everything was fine. And then Mark Soler did a lot of hard work for Juan Ayuso on the day that he won a stage, even if they're about to not be teammates. Yeah. So all that said, you're right. Like this team looks like they've kind of figured it out. That's a big deal for Almeida's chances because today we saw the kind of team effort that is necessary or that will lead to a win if you've already got a lead. Like it's the days like today that Chris Froome, Geraint Thomas at the Tour de France built their victories on. And they would have a lead already, and then there would just be lots of days like this where maybe there isn't a big decisive attack, but that's not necessary because they already have a lead or they're going to get it in the time trial. The difference for Almeida is he's got to find that time because even though he was, good at not losing time through the first week and a half, he is still 46 seconds down on Vingegaard. And he couldn't shake Vingegaard on this climb, even if it was close. Where's he going to get those 46 seconds? And that's tricky. And I feel like it would be really nice if the team could look to Juan Ayuso as that card to play to send up the road, a la Roglic and Vingegaard, 1-2 punching Pogacar at the Tour a few years ago. Well, that's not going to happen anymore.
You could get him in an early move and,
get all that time back.
I don't know why they would chase him, but
yeah.
he could be up there waiting for Almeida.
He could get all the time back in a break. Like it could be like a Ben O'Connor situation.
It's true.
Ben O'Connor, by the way, abandoned the race today. That's unfortunate. Last year's runner-up.
But
just in general.
He didn't scream F-bombs. He handled it, I thought, really gracefully. He was losing time. He's went back to the team car, had calm discussions like, hey, how do we get through this? It was, maturity, even if it was a disappointing result for him, non-result, I guess, for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. But in general, though, on Almeida, I think he exceeded my expectations today. I mean, even just on Spin Cycle yesterday and in a story I wrote about Juan Ayuso, I kind of threw a little bit of shade by pointing out that I don't think Almeida is going to be better than we've seen him. Like, he's probably where he is. Like, he's probably at his peak now at this point in his career, I would guess. But
he was pretty good today.
If he goes and wins the Vuelta, then I'm going to feel wrong. Simple as that. But yeah, he certainly exceeded expectations. It's definitely these two guys, though, at this point. There was a stretch where it was like, okay, Giulia Ciccone, maybe. Tom Pidcock has shown flashes. But after today, I think it's Vingegaard versus Almeida at the Vuelta España. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Pidcock can bounce back. I mean, he was decent today.
He rode very well today, like a real smart yet scrappy GC performance. I think we kind of GC racing, what we're used to seeing is the first two guys, what we did in the critical moment today, where it's like there's a team of strong riders for one extremely strong rider, and they set them up, they win. But there are a bunch of GC places beyond second where there are riders riding by themselves, trying to time when they make an effort, when they close a gap. And Pidcock rode really well in that context today. Like, there were a lot of times when he could have blown up, he could have done something dumb. He really rode his own pace. He found his own way back to Riccitello and Pellizzari, and I think may have been the only person to make a pass inside that final fencing, because he just clipped Riccitello at the line. And, that is, again, it's not as good as we've seen him at this Vuelta, but it was still really good, and he's still on the podium.
Yeah. So he finished on the day. He was 7th, and he is, as you said, he's still on the virtual podium. He's 2:18 down on Vingegaard. So, for context, there's only just Joao Almeida is the only rider within 2 minutes of the race lead. So it's those two, and then a substantial gap back. Pidcock in third now. Jai Hindley in fourth, and Hindley had a great day today. He was third on the day. As Cafe Rider wonders, is this the best we've seen him since the 2022 Giro? I think so. I mean, unless I'm forgetting something, he's definitely looking as good as he's ever looked in the last 5 years, 4 years, math. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's doing great, and I think at the same time, it's probably going to be Almeida or Vingegaard by this point. Like it feels like everyone else is racing for second, and or like the young rider jersey maybe. Yeah. So the young rider jersey though, I mean, like that, it's sort of similarly to what we've seen in other Grand Tours recently. I don't know. I feel like there's a time when like it would be the top 15 guys, and then the young rider jersey might finish like 16th overall or something, or maybe one guy in the young rider jersey fight might finish in the top 5. But like, there's a lot of, well, it's Giulio Pellizzari and Matthew Riettello both in the top 10 fight now, and both of them looking pretty good. I
Yeah,
don't know.
the races are kind of coming together, which I like. I don't love the idea of a young rider kit. I think I would much rather see guys trying to do the best they can on GC versus
Combination jersey, is that what
trying to.
you're?
No, I'm more like, well, first of all, it isn't. You don't have to have 4 jerseys. There's no rule. That's
Oh,
just sort of what
okay.
we decided on.
Sure.
But no, I think it is counterproductive to have the young rider, the best rider under arbitrary age, racing against the other best rider of arbitrary age instead of racing against everyone else. You know, you're in a professional bike race with the best professionals in the world. I don't see that. It's like, why would you race Masters 35 plus when you're a Cat 3? You should be racing against other Cat 3s because Cat 3s are nominally the same skill level as you. But that's just me. So I think it's cool to see them coming together. I am a little nervous for Riccitello sometimes. I'm kind of glad he's under the radar. Wearing the IPT kit and being an American, I think I would not have wanted to come into the crowd at Bilbao, maybe off the front of the race like that. I think there could have been issues there.
Hindley, Pellizzari having a great day. So, by the way, those are 2 riders on the same team. Riccitello, another rider, stock up. Ciccone stock down, even though he actually moved up on GC in the positions. Like he looked so good in the first few days, but he has not looked quite as good recently.
Like it's sort of he's nominally gaining places, but the GC race is passing him, or at least passed him today. So,
in general, the Angliru, I feel like yet again we've seen this several times. Like, it's obviously super hard, it's spectacular. There wasn't a whole lot of like attacking, and that often happens on this climb. It's just like people are on their limit and they just ride as hard as they can, and then they get to the top without ever actually having a moment where they're like, all right, I'm gonna drop this guy. It doesn't really happen. So yeah,
which maybe sort of makes it a good climb for Almeida. Like,
I think
despite the fact that he's not the first rider that comes to mind when I say there's 6K at 12% or whatever, 14%. Who's gonna do best there?
But he's also not generally someone who puts in big attacks. Like he does, like he's got the engine.
Well, he puts in big attacks, but he brings the group chat along. Like when he attacks, that's sort of what gets it down to the GC group, and then more attacks go, and he slowly works his way back up to them.
Who else impressed you?
Oh, Mats Pedersen looked good today. I think they kind of handed him the sprint, but I think he earned it by getting there. It's a situation where none of the guys in the break. He was the first climb of the day, he was gapped a little bit, really kind of rode solo back up to a lead group, caught him on the descent, and they're like, took the one bonus sprint on the day, and then basically sat up. But it was, it shows the passion he's got for taking this green jersey, because yesterday we saw Victor Campenaerts on the line for, I don't even know what place it was, not like super high up, just clip Pedersen to get that little edge for maybe Jonas can win the green jersey. So it is, I like the caginess of this battle.
Yeah, definitely. The points jersey, by the way, Jonas Vingegaard just climbing up a little bit, little by little. I know you're not.
Maybe there should be fewer points at the top of a mountain stage.
Maybe Peterson should go win a stage. Actually, then I'll actually care.
That's also.
I'll feel like more inclined to root for him in that battle. He'll have some chances coming up. We've got I'm looking at the run sheet here, and in terms of who else impressed you, and Pablo Castrillo abandoning the race.
I put that in the wrong spot.
I see. Okay.
Not supposed to go there. I said Landa did pretty good teamwork, even though he's clearly not having a great day. He sort of realized, I think, he didn't have the legs and worked hard to get what's his name, the little guy, the Belgian dude,
Junior Lesurf.
Yes, get him back into the race after UAE had done their early kind of string things out.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. And a abandon that did impress you, you've already mentioned this, though, was O'Connor handling
Well, it's
losses gracefully.
yeah. I mean, I think I say it on every time he comes up. Like
The Netflix.
Netflix did him a little dirty,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's good. It's good to see him, handle bad stuff that happens when you're a professional cyclist with maturity and grace. And yeah,
yeah.
stoked to see him come back and do something awesome again.
And at the same time, he did lose a lot of time.
Yeah, he's not in the
at
race
the end.
anymore. Like that is that
Yeah.
is that is not what you want.
Um, Disappointing riders. I think Ciccone for me is the one that stands out, just because he was the one I was thinking was really going to be here battling, and I think that's kind of over. Bernal as well, and this one just hurts because I think a lot of us want Bernal to do well, and after a good first few days of the race, he just kind of seems to fade a little bit every day, which is a shame.
I think you should hit the gym, reconfigure for some spring classics,
Uh,
because he's such a
Roubaix,
maybe not Roubaix, but like any of the hilly classics he could
yeah,
do well at. I think honestly some of the hilly cobbled classics he could do well at. He's really good at racing a bike, and he's absolutely fearless. Like one of the things that stands out for me from this year's Giro was, it's kind of a steep uphill finish, and he just like threw his shoulders into Pedersen, who is probably 50 pounds heavier than he is.
yeah,
Like, I'm going to fight you for that spot. Of course, Mess is sort of just like, no, like
no
nudges
thanks.
him out of the way.
Yeah,
But he used to do this when he was the best GC rider in the world. Like there would be echelons, and you'd see Sky up front, and, Luke Rowe would be there. Thomas would be there. And you'd think that they would have to kind of baby a guy like Bernal through this. And Bernal is in front of them in the line. Like, I'm good, guys. Let's do this. Let's,
yeah,
let's get rotating. Let's set time up. So
Other news from the Vuelta. There's an obvious big story here. We covered it pretty extensively on Spin Cycle this week. The protests that are impacting the race. That, I mean, they delayed the break today, right? Like that. Another instance of it. They due to protests, an entire stage was neutralized. We didn't get a finish. We only got GC times. That was the Bilbao stage. They also
where did they take those GC times, Dan?
3K to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did this source? Trust me, bro.
Yeah, trust me, bro.
It's they. I think in general, the UCI could set up a like designated emergency stop point, because this does happen
It does.
every couple of years in a big race like this, where something happens and they can't get to the finish. And they at the 2019 Tour, they just said, hey, we're taking the times from the last KOM. Unfortunately, they said this after the race had been stopped. So it's sort of like sneaky, secret, retroactive finish line. And to have hey, there's a protest at the finish. We're going to stop at the designated can't get to the finish point at 3K to go. And, what do you need? Like a camera, you need a good camera. You need a line on the road. And that's about all you need.
Chalk.
What,
I mean, it was interesting. They could have imposed a delay on the peloton to even things out with the breakaway.
I don't think they should have done that. I think they did it right.
Why is that? If doable, why not do it?
Because the race for the GC was already on. I think it was highly likely that the break was going to get caught. The gap was only about a minute
Definitely
and 15 seconds.
Definitely
and I think, UAE put in a bunch of work. You'd actually hear Hindley and Almeida joking about it after the stage, where it's like, bro, you really sent it on that descent. It's like, they was joking. It was okay to take his helmet off now. And they said they've been slipping on the descent a little bit. And that's a lot of work to kind of take that race over, get over the top of the climb, and then really force things on that descent to keep the group small. And if they had, the break wasn't stopped by that much, maybe 15 seconds. We didn't see the whole thing, but enough from the chopper shot that at one point, yes, everybody was stopped. They're pushing protesters out of the way. At some point, Jungels is just like, screw it, and rides around them, even though the motos are stopped. The lead motos had stopped. But to have to do that to the entire peloton on the descent, like make it into a big group again after UAE had done the work to string it out. If it had been a 7, well, even then, like I think regardless of the gap size, regardless of whether or not the break is likely to get caught, like you have to respect the work that has gone in to the GC group. The only exception I could see is if it's like very close. Well, even then, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky.
The break would really have to be legitimately gonna win the stage and actively inconvenienced by, like, actively had that chance cut out by the race not coming back.
You make good points. I can see this now. Another angle on this, we've got a really good story over at escapecollective.com more broadly about Israel Premier Tech, not just about what's going on at this race. So check that out. Chris Marshall Bell and Johnny Long put that together. So go read that if you're a member. If you're not a member, go sign up and then read that.
It is interesting to read a lot of the online commentary about what should and shouldn't be done. I think there's people who have maybe not been involved in road race organization overestimating the amount of security that can be provided reasonably on open roads.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, cycling is forever vulnerable to the heckler's veto in this respect. And I get that there's a lot of commentary like saying, oh, we don't want to set this precedent, but like at a certain point, if enough motivated people want to stop a bike race, the bike race will at least be temporarily stopped. And we've seen this for as long as there have been bike races, pretty much.
Just impossible not
whether you're a striking port worker or you're arguing about, you're protesting geopolitical events, like the bike race is there, and it is the protesters are going to be part of the picture. You need to figure out a better way to deal with this.
Yeah, for sure. For more on that, again, head over to escapecollective.com, sign up to be a member, and go read all the great stories we got up over there. In terms of the racing, I want to give Juan Ayuso and Jay Vine and Almeida a bit of a shout out in that I think the stage-winning dominance of the UAE team over the course of 2 weeks has been entirely overshadowed by a lot of things, including the fact that they are a GC team, and this is particularly true for Juan Ayuso as well. He's a nominally a GC rider, not at this race, but like we think of him as being one. If a team had a rider who could win 3 Grand Tour stages and like World Tour 1 week races, that in and of itself would like he would be the best rider on 95% of teams. And if a team could win, what have they won now? 6 stages at this race? That would be the best performance in most teams' histories. Like ignoring any GC. And I feel like because of the fact that UAE is a GC team and it's UAE, they have Tadej Pogacar, we're inclined not to realize how impressive this is. But from a stage hunting perspective, Ayuso, Vine, Almeida, the team in general is just absolutely incredible at this Vuelta. And I'm extremely impressed with individual performances on all of the stages. I feel like they deserve a lot of credit for that, particularly given how much guff we've been giving them for their dysfunction.
I mean, they did a bad job last time. Like it was,
sure.
We probably previewed redid, blogged on whatever we're doing, the stage where they did the worst of the entire Vuelta.
Yeah. And
now we're just getting, our sampling has returned on a day where they were very, very good. And so it all evens out in the
end. The Ayuso UAE dynamic, it's been fun. I hope it continues to be fun. We'll see. In general, I think this has been an extremely fun Vuelta, by the way. And I think the stages themselves have been great to watch, but also, like, the Vuelta does a good job every year of giving us entertaining storylines, right? I mean, good stuff for TV, which I'm happy about. I don't know about you. Coming up.
I think I like that it's interesting to say for TV, because I think a lot of the good storyline stuff has been coming not on television. And granted, everybody watches different TV for some reason.
Yeah. Well, the Ayuso stuff has been a lot of on TV.
Well, there's just like a lot of the joking around with the with Anders from Eurosport/TNT, who is Danish, getting all of several Danish riders together before every stage and just basically shooting the shit, has been very entertaining. And like that's stuff you never used to really see. Like cycling was too serious for that for some reason. And now a lot of that is kind of surfacing, and you get moments like there's a bunch of people sitting around hanging out on the Vuelta couch, and everybody knows what the Vuelta couch is. And you know from that content, like who is the tension that has definitely been there in the past with UAE is reduced. And you know that Mess Pedersen is a big practical joker who will try to grab other riders' nipples if given the opportunity.
Yeah.
Just a weird thing. Male riders, I should point out.
All of these things, the entertainment factor is definitely there in a way.
Victor's blogs, outstanding. Victor Campenarts.
They always are. Campenarts is a great blogger. All of these upping the entertainment factor in a way that, I mean, just again, I feel like the Vuelta is really living up to my hype,
Yes.
and I'm happy.
Yeah,
about
no,
that.
I mean, I don't think that the Vuelta is necessarily overhyped. I just think that the end of the Tour de France, people are immediately talking about the Vuelta. It's like, the day after Thanksgiving, it becomes Christmas. And it's like, can we breathe a little bit?
Yeah.
And then the Vuelta will get its moment and it will be wonderful.
I mean, I'm not going to let anyone breathe. I'm going to immediately get in there and take all the air out of the room by talking about the Vuelta right away. Sorry. But it is so great. And even this year, like with the protesters story kind of dominating the headlines, there's still been lots of other entertaining stuff, which is great. And I'm really happy about that. Coming up, first of all, I mean, we're talking after the Angliru stage. There's going to be another really hard stage on Saturday to La Farapona, which is a grueling Cat 1 climb, which comes after another Cat 1 climb. It's sort of a 1-2 punch at the finish. So we could see more GC action there. Hopefully, we will see more GC action there. And then into the final week, they are going to head into some fire-scorched...
burn zones.
Yes.
Like, I have no idea what it actually looks like because it's this mixed pine and scrubland, at least as far as I can tell from Google Satellite and being in similar ecospheres in the Western United States. So it's really hard to tell the extent of what is burned, even though it's in a burn zone. But like the finish up to Alto de Moradero is like in the middle of one of the wildfires that burnt last month in Castilla and Leon.
Yeah, hopefully that will not. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, if you've done a recon there and there were a bunch of trees and now there aren't trees, like it would definitely throw me off. Plus, if it rains a bunch on freshly burned ground, the likelihood of something washing over the road or washing the road out is much higher. There's a lot of things that could happen. I'm curious to see how the organization handles it.
So lots to watch. Plenty of entertaining stuff to come. Hopefully, a good battle here. Sizing up Almeida versus Vingegaard seems it's hard to pick one. I mean, Vingegaard's the favorite, but like Almeida looked great today. So lots of reasons to watch. We'll be back here in, I guess, a little over a week to talk about the final week and the final big GC day. In the meantime, head over to escapecollective.com, join up, read all our coverage, and then because you've joined up, you can come hang out with Cosmo and me and with Cafe Rider
and the Duck and the Angliru
and the Duck.
Back by popular demand.
The Duck on your... Yes. Alden, Alan, thank you all for chatting. We had a great time here, as we always do on our live show, which, again, just become a member and you can come hang out with us. We'd love to have you. Yeah. Hope you enjoy the race in the next couple of days. We'll be back soon. I've been Dane Cash. Who are you? What was this?
I'm Cosmo Catalano. That was the How the Race Was Won podcast.